It's really interesting because while it didn't happen watching the show, it's happening now afterwards, where I'm like thinking back on it. It's like certain scenes, certain things that happened. Oh, this correlates with that. And this is how I see society operating in the same way. It's like it's expanded a lot in my life in the aftermath of season 3 rather than while watching it. Bonjour, hello, welcome back to the Daily Humans podcast, Podcasterson. I'm Nina.
Pastor Sassers. But you're like, Bonjour. I'm Ashley. It's nice to meet you. How do you do? How do you day? How was your day?
Marvelous
We're waiting for you to
woman she
answer.
is. Oh, my day is great. Thank you.
No, I was talking about people that are listening.
Oh,
We're waiting for them to answer. How was your day? Friends, people, unicorns, aliens. Yeah.
that's great. Our days are good too. I'm channeling Dora the Explorer.
Let's have a moment of silence listening to how their day's like. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, you should really set those boundaries.
Yeah, definitely.
You ate a chocolate croissant. Where's ours? You had a hot chocolate.
Without us?
Are you going to share? Sharing is caring.
Low-key sus, but you know, whatever.
Invite us, please. We'll have a grand time. I'll even shout you.
Shout you? What does that mean?
I'm glad you had a shout you.
What does that mean?
Doesn't know what I mean. Okay, I get to explain it. So shout means like if we go out to dinner or we go to a cafe, I'll shout your drink. I'll shout your food. So I'll pay for it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I'll pay for it. So we say, oh yeah, I'll shout you this time.
Wow.
You finish dinner and the bill comes, don't worry, I got it, I'll shout. That's what we say.
Is that an Australian thing?
I don't know. But we always
just be old-fashioned.
No. Well, everyone around me says that I say it a lot. I'll shout. It's my shout. Yeah, that's what we say. It's my shout this time because you shouted last time. Oh, I just taught you something else. Oh.
That's amazing. Okay, thank you for teaching me that. That's awesome.
And just in case any of you didn't know and you're thinking the same thing Nina was thinking, like, you're going to shout me? Like, you're going to shout at me? I would never. I want to fight for you. Unless, of course, I was going to say unless you drink her fruit teas, because Nina doesn't like fruit teas. So
no, drink them, please.
No fruit teas for you. And it's her birthday month, so you don't get a fruit tea. I had a fruit tea the other day and I thought of you. So I sent the energy your way.
I love that. I love that that left such a strong impression on you.
Oh, you always do. Always. I still got that butterfly in my head.
Yeah. That was a moment.
Really, that got me. She's hilarious.
Thank you.
She is really hilarious.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes, we have previously come to the agreement that July is not my birthday month. So everybody who has a birthday in July, get out of here. Go to August, October, June. I don't know. This is my month. I'm the only birthday here. So not my fault. Just talk to Ashley. Talk to my people. You know, my manager, my people, bodyguard, security.
The surprise the surprise from your birthday episode, you thought people were going to come in. Imagine if you said security and they just come in, they just start marching through.
Yeah.
I'll do that for you as a surprise because I'm an Aries. I'll just get security for you. And the moment you call for them, they just come barging into your room. What do you need from us? What can we help you with?
Yes.
You'd be like, I can't put my earring in. Can you please put it in for me?
Yeah.
Be a doll. be like Regency times, my friend. Like, could you just brush my hair? Take that opportunity. Having your hair brushed is the pinnacle of
Yes.
just calmness to me, and it
Yes.
doesn't happen enough. I'm gonna hire someone to brush my hair at this point.
That's gonna be in your like autobiography that you'll write one day.
Mhm. I'm gonna have all this on my tombstone. The last episode, what did Nina said that I'm a delicious human being? That's
Yeah.
gonna be on my tombstone. Here lays a delicious human being that wanted her hair brushed so badly, and still to this day did not get that. She died without having her hair brushed by anyone.
I'll brush your
I would
hair when I'm
actually,
in Australia. It's okay. I'll give you that experience.
the moment she gets off the plane, and then she runs up to me, and I put the hairbrush in front of her.
Yes,
Now you're
exactly.
so tired, and you're like on a long trip. You come up to me, you're like, I'm so excited. You go to hug me, and I just put the hairbrush in front of you. Turn
Exactly.
around. That, my friends, is the true bond of friendship.
Yes.
Thank you, and good night.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Sweet as Zane. Bye bye.
Boy, boy.
You know, Nina is looking just absolutely gorgeous in pink, and her earrings as well. Can you show them your earrings, please? Because they are
Gorgeous.
stunning.
Yes, thank you.
She had those. They're not the bows, aren't they, from the last
No.
episode? No. She had these cute little bows on, two similar design, similar
Yeah, they're
material, wasn't it?
beads.
It looks similar.
This one
Yeah.
is a little bit more structured than the last one, but yeah, it's similar enough. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
nice
trying to
having
go
the
for like a
around.
Regency look. And I was like, I have no like dramatic earrings anymore. Like they're all smaller or not as like colorful or poppy as these are. So I'm like, I'm just gonna take these. I'm gonna take my little necklace and my long pink dress, and I'm gonna shimmy to the studio. Shimmy.
I love that.
We do that in the 1800s.
Just imagine in Germany, she has to walk to the studio and she's just along the way.
I
Oh, great.
can't. Oh gosh, Ashley, I can't.
Do you go and order your coffee while you're shimmering down to the studio? Do you just
No,
pop into the store? Can I have a latte?
no. I really hope you guys are watching. Those who are listening in, you need to go right now over to our YouTube channel and watch this episode because you're missing Ashley being gold. Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez. What she means is Ashley just being Ashley, typically. But a more heightened. Once I turned 28, my unhingedness reached a whole new level of, I don't even know where it went, to be honest. It shot out of earth and I just watched it go and said, yep, I shall accept my fate. That's just it. That's where the story ends.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Speaking of
No, but
shimmering
it tends to
down
be a
the
thing.
studio, what tends to be a thing? Tell me.
It tends to be a thing when you get older, you just don't care anymore. So you tend to be a lot more bold in your actions. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you're feeling that being 28 now. If you're, well, actually, it's not been that long, but still, sometimes I feel like the shifts can just happen overnight at this point. It's like while you're sleeping, your soul just zooms out of your body for a second to let things go into the atmosphere and then comes back.
Yeah.
Did you feel that? You did,
Yeah,
didn't you?
definitely. A
You
little bit more,
ascended.
yeah. I'm not as like out there as like I would say my mother, but definitely I'm out there. I'm getting
You
there.
ascended. Mm-hmm.
I'm centered, yeah.
Trust me, people. If she starts drinking fruity teas, she didn't just ascend. She traveled universes. She
Yeah.
went far.
I will never drink a fruity tea. That is nasty. But to each their own.
Oh my gosh. Even in the Regency times, I was wondering before, they drink a lot of tea. And I'm wondering
Yes.
what kind of tea they drink. That's the first thing I thought about when I was watching the show is you're probably not drinking real tea. But if so, what kind of tea would you be drinking? Because I don't know the full history of Regency time, so I'm kind of curious what they drink.
They imported tea from India, England.
I mean, Kate does say in season 2 that the English tea is horrible or something like that.
Interesting.
Do you remember that in season 2 where she's like, the tea, don't quote me on the exact words, but she said something like, and the tea here, the English tea is horrible and I can't stand it, or something like that. Something like that. Preference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Bridgerton
That's what
is
we're talking
amazing.
about today. Did you know that? You
Yeah.
didn't know that from the title, didn't you? You had no idea.
No.
We just sprung it at you. We just sprung it on you. You weren't willing. You weren't ready for it. Here it is. Season 3,
Voila.
which is our favorite season. I got Nina hooked onto it, and I'm quite
Yes.
proud of that.
Yeah.
I got my mother hooked onto it as well. Very proud of that too. They should really sponsor me at this point for just
They
telling people,
should.
hey, would you like a new show to watch? If you like Regency times, if you like that kind of romance and drama, maybe check out Bridgerton. You don't have to, of course, free will, but it doesn't hurt to take a little squiz. Just
Yes.
take a little squiz.
Yes.
Watch the first episode of season 1. Little squizzies.
Yes, season 3. I mean, we did talk about it before in prior episodes how we're going to come back and talk about how we feel once we have completed Bridgerton. I think at the time I didn't even watch Bridgerton yet. So this will be my full experience that I will share, and especially with season 3, because I wanted to say this last time in the birthday episode that we did, but I feel so much correlation having watched it at the time that I did. And so I'm very excited to dive deep today, as per usual. Yeah.
Yeah. Nina and I actually watched some of the episodes of season 2 by Hello Party, I think it was called,
Mhm.
which was an absolute regret because how many times did we have to internet and everything? So then we gave up and we started watching it as like through Kakao Talk. What do you call it? Like FaceTime.
FaceTime. Yeah.
And then just having it play, and we had to press play at the exact same time so there would be no issue. So that was
Yeah.
fun. I actually enjoyed that whole process.
Yeah. It was a lot
It
of
was
fun.
actually really nice though. It was really fun watching it with you. And the thing too is that like I was just excited to see her facial expressions when I knew something was coming that might, tweak a little expression. So I'd be like looking at her face, just waiting for it. And then she'd go, "What?"
I will never forget that
I love
guy.
it.
That when I think it was in season
Season
2.
one?
No, I do believe it was season 2 where he was like keeping an eye on the woman. No, it was season 1, keeping an eye on the
Yeah.
I will never, I'm telling you this now, I will never remember any names of any character ever, except for season 3. I know Penelope, Francesca, Cressida, and that's it. But so don't take it personally. I know I've had a few discussions, heated discussions, like you don't remember, you didn't like it. It's not true. I just don't remember names anymore. But yes, the main character of season 1, where the old guy came up to her and it's like, I've been keeping my eye on you ever since you were a little girl.
Oh,
Remember
yeah,
that
Lord
guy?
Burbrook. Yeah,
Yeah,
Lord Burbrook
I need
in
you in my
season
life.
1.
Yeah.
I am in your life, honey. Forever and ever.
Yes.
Yeah, no, he goes up to Daphne and then has his little. When that happened, because we did watch season 1 together as well. When that happened, Nina was like, "What?" She was
I
like, "Nah,
I died
nah,
on the inside.
that's it." Yeah, he played it. The actual actor. played him really well. Really
Mhm.
played him really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the ideology was for him to be obviously a bit of, not a bit, a lot of, a bit, not even saying a bit, it's not a bit, being a massive creep. And
Mhm.
I feel like this is the thing. I feel like playing something like that would not be easy, knowing that you are playing that kind of, do you know what I mean? That kind of
Yeah.
character. We've kind
Yeah.
of spoken about this in the past, playing someone that has certain inhuman tendencies, you know, inhuman behaviors. I feel
Mhm.
like that would be difficult to play that kind of role because people also associate you as you and
Right.
who you are with the character.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen before. So, yeah, he played it really well. He played
He
it, he
did.
really did. They all did. Everyone
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Season 3 though was top notch.
Yeah.
Really, it was.
Yeah.
There were a few little things. Everyone, I don't even know where to start because the thing is that online there's just countless conversations about season 3, and I'm not going to say a divide. I'm not going to go down that road because it's not a divide really. Everyone is going to have their own opinions and likes and dislikes. But there are some people that absolutely cannot stand the season, and there are others that love everything about it. And then there are others that are in the middle. It's all over the place. And the
Mhm.
thing too is I personally, speaking for myself, wasn't fully into season 1 and season 2 like season 3. So some people were saying that the conversations that are coming up about season 3 are the same conversations that happened with season 2. You had people that completely didn't like it, that had an issue with it, or was it season 1? It was one of them. So it sounds like it's nothing new, the way that it's conversated, but season 3 was my favorite. Can you say the same, my friend? I think you said that
Absolutely.
season 3 was your favorite.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
hands down. There's no way. I don't even know if any future season can come close to this one because for me, honestly, my favorite part of the whole entire franchise, but especially season 3, was the last ballroom like is it a ballroom
Mm,
event? It's not called a dance. It's just the party that they threw and the way it was decorated and the
really.
dresses. It was just stunning. I saw it. I was like,
Mm,
there has not been one of these events within the entire Bridgerton series that has been as beautiful to me as this one was. And the character growth
mm,
from Penelope, the just everything. It was just stunning. I loved it. I love Penelope. I wish we could have, and we'll probably get into this. I'm definitely part of the whole team of like Netflix having to extend the episodes quite a bit to certain shows, but
yeah.
especially I felt like this season deserved maybe a little bit longer. Um, more episodes, 2, 3 more episodes, I would have been happy with. But
Mhm.
yes, alas, 8 siblings, 8 episodes, hopefully 8 seasons. We shall see. But it was beautiful. What did you feel was kind of the standout moment for you for season 3?
Mm. You're coming in with the good questions because you're a good interviewer. I think honestly, the what you were talking about, the last ball,
Mhm.
that really hit different. And I generally, we talked about this too. I generally felt the anxiety of the
Mhm.
entire scene. Like when the Queen marched in, when the Queen marched in, I started to feel it. I was like, holy crap, you kind of have an idea. And then when she pointed to her and she had to walk up and she's kind of shaking in her voice and speaking her truth, I was like,
Mhm.
wow. You know what it reminds me of, just to get a little sentimental here? The amount of moments, the amount of times, not in the same experience, obviously, where you've had to stand on your 2 feet and you've had to literally speak your
Yes.
truth and hold your ground, stand your ground, and do what she did. I think
Mhm.
that's just I thought to myself, "Oh my gosh." But in that situation though, it is a lot more. It's a lot more serious because it's essentially she's Lady Whistledown, and the entire town has just found out that she is, and you don't know how they're going to react, and you don't know what they're going to do, or you don't know what they're going to say, and just anxiety was everywhere, everywhere. But
Yeah.
that part was definitely, and with her mum's support at the end as well. I love the Featheringtons healing
Hmm.
their relationships with each other. That was just such a beautiful touch. That really
Yeah.
was. Yeah, that was really lovely.
Yeah.
Mm. Would
There
you say
was.
the ball as well, or is there a different
Yeah, yeah,
part
yeah.
that you?
Absolutely. The ball, hands down, hands down. There's no competition. No, but the thing that I kind of came away with season three once it ended was just for me personally, I love rather than the romance aspect, I'm much more interested in the dynamics of friendship that they have. I think it's quite interesting, but
Mm,
seeing their especially Cressida, Penelope, and their mothers and the relationship that they had to their mothers, the things that they were brought up with, things they had to face, and how they both turned out and the decisions that they made, and Penelope healing. Hopefully, it'll be a healing continuation between her mother and her. At least this is what I presume will happen. But seeing that was really, really, like Ashley said, just beautiful because it lets me as a viewer and me as I feel like it's compatible the growth that we make in our own personal lives with the growth that we see of these characters on the show, and I love seeing that because a lot of the
yeah.
time you just have plot holes, you don't really see an involvement of a character, but Penelope grew so much, not just in season three but throughout the entirety of the show, and the fact that they put that much effort into portraying that, I love that. I love seeing it, and
Mm,
it makes me excited to watch more to see the continuation of it all, of all the characters. Because while I will say, and you can speak how you feel about it as well, Ashley, something that bothered me was how many people were in season three. Love Francesca, love her. I'm so excited for her season. Apparently, that's what's coming next. But I just wanted it to be Penelope's moment alone. However, after some further thinking, I think it's actually really beautiful to see the other characters and see how they continue to grow. However, I will say again, I would have loved more Penelope and is it Colin? Colin Bridgerton, right?
mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay. I've remembered another name. Yes. No, but no, but I would have loved seeing a little bit more between the two of them rather than some other people.
She means all the I don't even know if we can say it on here. Three,
Yeah,
and then
yeah. The three,
Benedict's,
three,
the
like,
Three Stooges.
yeah, the Three
Three
Stooges. I like
Musketeers. The Musketeers.
that.
Yeah. My mother, even when she came in after finishing it, she said, I loved it, but why were there so many of those scenes?
Yeah,
There was a little too much of it, honestly. It took up, like, we totally get it. Hey, go right ahead and do your thing, Benedict. But there was too many of those scenes
yeah,
that could have been really given to the main characters of the season, really. That's one of the things that I definitely agree with those that are saying it too, is that there was just way too much of that.
yeah,
And even the other storylines too, when I first preferences for anyone else, when I first watched it, um, I had a lot more thoughts on this really just, oh my God, this, that. But then when I watched it the second time, I was like, okay, I feel like I'm get it a lot more now. But I do find it jumping from person to person, this person, that person, this, that Violet story, which is the Bridgertons' mother,
Yeah.
Violet, and Lady Danbury's brother.
Yeah.
You have their storyline, you have Francesca's, you have Benedict's, you have Cressida's, you have Eloise. There definitely was a lot going on. And
Yeah.
I remember watching it for the first time and going, okay, we just went from someone else, another person, another person, another person. Okay, we're here, we're there. What is happening? Just kind of in that mindset of, geez, this is very this is a lot. And this is the thing too, because there's only 4 episodes in part 2 that they released, they slammed a lot more in those 4, in my opinion, than the first 4. I don't know if you found this as well, but I found that
Yes.
the last 4 episodes were a lot more slammed than the first 4.
Yeah.
That's really what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I agree. I didn't really find the first 4 episodes in part 1. First of all, part 1, part 2, what's that about? Because we'd never had that in the prior seasons, I think, as far as I know. But the part 1 aspect of it, the first 4 episodes, I don't really understand why it couldn't. I'm not going to criticize the writers and anything about the show, but I found it a lot more underwhelming. Let's put it that way. I found episode 1 to 4 a
mm,
lot more underwhelming, and then 5 to 4 to 8, the part 2, 1 to 4, uh, it just was a lot. It was a bam, 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 bam. I love you. I realize I love you. Let's get married. We're getting married. A house. This, that. It was. I would have loved to have seen it a little bit blend out, maybe more. I know within the 8 episodes, there's not much to do, but not much you can do about that. But at the same time, the pacing could have been a little bit better. I will say with the mother in Bridgerton, mom, what's her name?
Violet?
Violet. I feel like we could have had that as a separate season or a separate show. Uh, it was cute to see, but at the same time, with everything else and everybody else, I was like, okay, it's a lot. It's a lot going on here, and I'm trying to just see Penelope shine. I'm just trying to see her, okay? Because she's stunning. That woman is beautiful. Nicola is absolutely gorgeous.
Mm,
I
yeah,
I
she
was just
is.
looking at her in the show. I was like, look at you. You're just with her lips and her eyes. She has such beautiful eyes. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Mesmerizing.
Yes.
Mesmerizing.
Yeah.
I will say, I kind of see though Violet's story, because if you watched Charlotte, did you watch
Hmm.
Queen Charlotte?
No.
So Queen Charlotte is, I guess, it's a part of the Bridgerton story, but they kind of did it as a different segment, its own segment kind of thing. That has Violet's story in it. And
Mm.
then during the season, she talks about how she is at a point where her lady garden is switched on. You know,
Mm.
her desire for human connection is
Yeah.
switching back on after losing her husband. So, in one way, I will say, I think I kind of get it that they continued on that story from
Mhm.
Queen Charlotte. I do actually get it, but it's hard to depict what they're planning for the next few seasons, because it was a lot. Even the Mondrick family
Yeah.
are a part of the equation as well. And I do like their story. I think it's lovely showcasing where they came from.
Hmm.
I actually do like that story. I think it's lovely, but it'll also it's difficult because I don't want to single out anyone, but because there was just so much going on, it's kind of the question of, was it needed in season 3?
Mm. Yeah.
You know,
I feel like they deserve
was
their
it
own this
really?
season.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there could be a lot going with that, because their son is the Duke,
Yeah.
essentially. Was it Duke or something else, some other
Yeah.
title? I can't remember.
Duke of Kent.
They
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. They definitely have a good storyline that could really mix in with the Bridgertons and their own journey and their children's own journey even.
Mhm.
But I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. I don't even know if they're in the book. I don't think so. I think they no, they're not in the books. No. So they were just kind of created, which is fine.
Mhm.
Before we even continue, I want to preference this too. We're not joining in on the projections towards the writers and the showrunner as well, not participating in that at all. You're allowed to have your dislikes and you're allowed to have your, the way that you wish it would have gone. We do as well, but I'm not going to project that kind of energy
Yeah.
towards anybody. So we have no idea what that job is like, what it's like doing that. I don't know. I'm not in the position. So I'm not going to project on anyone.
Yeah.
We're just going to express our own opinions and we'll leave that there.
Yeah.
Okay? Just to preference that.
Yes. There's no slander here, unless it's
No.
society as a whole, but no one
Exactly.
individual. Yeah.
Exactly. Human behavior
Yes.
as that issue. Yeah.
With Penelope, it really actually is really interesting because while watching Bridgerton, right, I was like, this is a great show. Yes. I'm not as emotionally, I thought, like, okay, I've said this to Ashley and I need to bring it to you guys. I have seen so many shows that have just sucked me dry, energetically speaking. And where I go away just feeling, okay, I need a break from this because it's too much. I didn't feel that with Bridgerton. So when I first watched it, I was like, okay, I'm not as like involved emotionally, but I actually ended up liking it. However, it's really interesting because while it didn't happen watching the show, it's happening now afterwards, where I'm like thinking back on it. It's like certain scenes, certain things that happened. Oh, this correlates with that. And this is how I see society operating in the same way. It's like it's expanded a lot in my life in the aftermath of season 3 rather than while watching it. And it is really interesting because Penelope has impacted me. The character has impacted me, Nicola as well, but Penelope in general, because that scene, the final dance hall ball, that's usually what they called it back then, just like the event that they held and where they were all in the ballroom and the queen came, like you said, you could feel the nervousness. And I just thought it was impeccable because I've never in my life, in any movie, any scene I've ever watched, had a actress or actor portray that emotion so well as Nicola did. Where
Yeah.
I will say this as well, before I continue, I'm sorry, but I have to. The last 3 episodes of part 2 nearly drove me insane. Not emotionally, of like, oh my God, this is too much, but like, I need you to make up your mind, Penelope, because the whole I no longer hide that I am whistled out. But I'm not ashamed, but then doesn't fess up when the queen came the first time around after the wedding, and then everybody else is like projecting onto her, especially Colin, and then she's like, well, yeah, no, but, and then Cressida wants to be Whistledown, pretends to be her, and then she's like, no, I want it back. And I'm like, but before you were anxious about people finding out, isn't this good? So it like drove me a little bit insane. And I was like, I need you to make up your mind. What do you want? But I feel like that perfectly describes to me how it is growing up, growing into yourself, because you have certain aspects of yourself that you love that you don't really quite want to like step up to yet, that you feel kind of you want to shy away from, and then you end up being like, no, you know what, this is part of me, this is something that I love to do, this is what I like, I'm going to stand for that. And for her to get up on that stage being called out, first of all, oh my God, I know it was arranged, but still standing up in front of a stage in front of many people when you know that they don't particularly like you, and then fessing up to a person that not everybody particularly likes on top of that, just a wonderful power move and moment, and just her coming into her own. And I remember just watching it and thinking, this is what I'm doing in my life. You know, I'm stepping up to the plate, I'm stepping onto the spotlight, onto the stage and into the center field, and I'm owning who I am, and seeing that represented in Penelope in such a beautiful way it was stunning. And it, to this day, I'm telling you, every single day I wake up and I think about that scene. Every single day since, I wake up and I think
Mm.
about that scene. And with Colin as well, clearly he has his own feelings, and he fessed up to it within the show where he's like, I realized that I was a little bit envious of you and your passion. And I thought that that was such a beautiful thing as well to see, because we see it so much in society where women have their own ideas and goals and dreams. And oftentimes we see a lot of, unfortunately, men try to tear that down or judge a woman on her likes, tastes, music, whatever it may be. And for that scene to come, and he, you know, obviously they're married, but like still, for a man to have that moment be like, I realize that this was me. This has nothing to do with you. I want to support you, and this is a part of you. I don't want to separate that. I've been trying to, and that was selfish of me. To have that moment on TV in this day and age, right now in this economy, beautiful, wonderful. I love seeing it. More, please. It was just wonderful.
I agree. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. The awareness was really nice. The
Yes.
awareness, because Cressida technically said it to him, you sound not like you hate Whistledown, but more like you're jealous of her. And it's in the book as well that he's jealous of her success, essentially. So he played it out really well.
Mm-hmm.
He really did play it out really well. You know, Luke also did a really good job playing Colin as well. The emotions, the energy of season 3 is just, there's something there. There's something there energetically. I've said it to Nina a million times, and I'll say it a million more. If we're talking spiritually, it's very different. There's something about it. I don't know. And there's been so much proof as well. Just to say this too, some of the actors actually said that during the wedding scene that they actually cried, like for real cried. And to feel that kind of real emotion, there was something, it was different. And I felt it too. I'd messaged Nina about it, and I said it to her every single time we talked about it. I said to her, Nina, energetically, this is different. There's something here. I don't fully know what it is, but it feels not like the other seasons. And I've never experienced this before. Nina was saying that she's never watched a TV show or a movie, I think you said as well, that has sort of had that kind of impact. And neither have I. I've never watched a TV show or a movie where I've sat back and thought, being so emotionally invested. And it just felt so real. It felt so like I can't even find the words to describe. They did a really good job. They really did. When we're talking about the unfolding of the episode, it would have actually been really nice to get a background on Luke and Nicola's friendship and the journey of that, like flashbacks. Some people have said that too, and I actually agree. It would have been nice to get a story, because that's one thing. Even though the energy was there and it was marvelous and it was different from anything I've ever experienced, I still sort of don't think we knew enough about Colin. Even Penelope in some sense. I mean, you get an idea of what it would have been like growing up. You definitely get an idea.
Yeah.
But Colin, essentially, you have the factors that he's a sensitive soul, which there's nothing wrong with that at all. You get the feeling that he's discovering self, but just like the backstory of how their friendship unfolded and maybe some more details about him would have been really nice too. He was kind of just, in my opinion, in season 3, he was on a self-discovery journey, but he was also just there, getting angry and processing through his emotions. Like, it was a lot of him processing.
Yeah.
It was a lot of that. Yet Penelope was going through the absolute ringer, literally from the moment season 4, the moment that episode 4 starts, it's just an absolute whirlwind from there, and it doesn't stop. And that made me anxious. It's like they get
Yeah.
engaged. And then Eloise has her, her anger towards it. And she says to her, you have to tell him. And then I'm trying to think of the thing. And then it gets announced in Whistledown. Her mother finds out. Her mother has the conversation. Then Colin comes in. They go to the house. They do their thing. And then afterwards, the Queen's ransom is put out. That happens. And then I'm trying to think of what happens after that. It's just like one thing after another is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's one thing after another. She couldn't even enjoy her own engagement party.
That's
She
true.
couldn't
Yeah.
even enjoy her own wedding. That I thought to myself, nah, come on. You could have at least given her a wedding. She could have at least had a wedding with the Queen not barging in.
Yeah.
That's one thing I wish. I wish the Queen didn't just barge in
Yeah.
and just continue on the anxiety of that. Why couldn't it be a completely different time? Penelope deserved that moment of enjoyment. She deserved to enjoy her wedding day. But already being in the bad books with Colin and then the Queen on top of it, my God.
Yeah.
I felt for her
It would
so
have been
much,
stressful.
not being able to have a moment. Oh gosh, yeah. Just a continuation of anxiety. No wonder why she fainted. I think any of us bloody would.
Yeah. I also thought it was super rude for the Queen to be like, everybody leave. Everybody that's not a Bridgerton leave. I'm like,
100%.
what are you telling somebody to leave in their house? Excuse me? It could not be me. Just looked at her crazy like, you came in here.
Nina in that moment, like, who do you think you are?
Right.
Walking in here telling all of us to leave? This is a wedding. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Were you invited? You weren't invited. Leave.
Security. Yeah. I just like
That's so rude.
everybody left. I was like, are they just gonna go to a different room? No, they left. I was like, it's after the wedding. How could you do that? Why not just talk to her outside or talk to them outside or something? Oh my goodness. But yeah.
If we're taking it like real life scenario,
Yeah.
that would be a moment of, why did you all just leave the wedding breakfast? You could have just come back in after the Queen
Right.
departed. Shouldn't even have been there anyway. Jeez, she wasn't invited.
Right.
The wedding was beautiful.
Ashley
The wedding
cried.
got me.
Yeah.
I cried. I did cry. I did. Again, there was something about that entire thing. And then they had to play Yellow. They just had to. That Coldplay song, Yellow, that already has a lot of emotional attachment to it. So hearing that as she's walking down the aisle, that was beautiful. She looked incredibly regal.
Yeah.
That's the word. I expanded my vocabulary. She looked incredibly regal. She looked beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Her dress, the mute, everything. Loved it. Live for it.
I loved seeing her be in a different color other than what yellow, orange. What was it? Pink? No, it wasn't
Her
pink.
colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the trend for them in season 1 and season 2. That was their thing. It's in the books as well, talking about their kind of style. So it was nice for it to be like her hair as well. I loved her hair in season 3.
Yeah. Stunning.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That color, you know what? That color matches Nicola. That color would truly also match her too. Beautiful color.
Especially her dress, her with the hair and the dress, the green one, when she went to the first ball. Loved that. Like the green complemented her complexion, her eyes made her eyes pop. It was just stunning. She was such a beautiful woman, Nicola. You're stunning.
Just spend the whole episode just complimenting.
Yes.
Complimenting Nicola and Pen.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about it too. there were people that were talking about, and I'd love to hear what you think about this. There were people that were talking about how they didn't feel the love, they didn't feel their
Mm,
connection at all. There were some that were actually saying that. I'm very intrigued as to, because clearly the energy was there. And I wonder if people are more used to seeing the way that Anthony and Kate had their experience and Daphne and the Duke, if we bring that to real life. I
mhm.
wonder if people are more used to sort of the roller coaster ride of romance rather than I guess, the unfolding of
Yeah,
that journey.
yeah,
Even though Colin and Penn could work on communication, and it kind of gets there, even though they have their trifles, it still was an unfolding journey from friends, and then it gravitated towards lovers. There was that moment where it just shifted. And I'm wondering if people are just not used to seeing that unfold and seeing it
mm,
be so, in a way, healthy. Maybe
yeah,
not fully, but enough that yeah, healthy.
yeah.
What do
I'm
you think?
sure that has a lot to do with it. I'm sure. I would also even argue that maybe people are just not used to seeing a man who's made up his mind about somebody, because that's the thing, it happens quickly when you really know that you love somebody, and you, especially for however long they've known each other, you don't need
Good point.
to spend forever, "Oh, I like you, oh I do, really, yes."
Running around the
No, you're,
bush.
yeah, this is it. I've known you my entire life, or at least for however long they've known each other. It's just been a long time.
Mm.
I think it's the entire life, right? Because Eloise and Penelope have been friends since childhood. But anyway, they've known each other for forever. And when you know, you know. I mean, that's the saying right now, right? When you know, you
Mm.
know. So I feel like it's that, but I actually really appreciate seeing that. And I did feel the love. I actually feel it more between those two than I did with any other couple in Bridgerton. I will say, I forgot her name. The second couple, the season two couple, I love seeing them together in season three. But when it comes to initial romance, from breaking that barrier between friends to more than that, or strangers to lovers, friends to lovers, this was perfect. I loved it. I would have just loved to see maybe a little bit more scenes of those two together, being lovey dovey and romantic, but that's just me. But you could
No, I think a lot
definitely
of
feel
people
it.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're not alone, my friend. A lot of people, like I said before,
Yeah.
agree that there needed to be more. There
Yeah.
needed to be more, and there could have been. There needed to be at least 10 episodes
Yes.
and like a continuation of the friendship from episode one, and then gravitating towards the lovers, which
Mhm.
also can't even talk now, showing like some flashbacks and some just
Yes.
unfolding the story slowly and beautifully.
Especially when he was abroad. I would have been amazing if there would have
Mm,
been some flashbacks of him like reading her old letters
yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
missing her and wondering, why isn't she writing to me? Like, that would have been perfect.
That's a good point, actually. Her not writing to him drove him to this point of thinking, okay, I'm going to harden myself up and just become this man that society wants me to be and just reflect that kind of thing.
Mm.
People were talking about how her not giving him the attention sort of put him in this space of, I'm just going to go and explore and be the man, be
Yes.
that man. Yeah, people
That's
were
why he
talking about that.
slept
I
with
thought
all those
about it.
different women.
Yes. And he kept talking about and that's why too, actually, I don't know if we had this conversation, but people were talking about how he came back trying to be society man, like the other men that he
Mhm.
was talking to. The conversation at the
Yeah.
table that took brain cells out of my brain,
Oh, yeah.
literally. Oh gosh, that took brain cells
Oh
out of my
my
brain.
gosh.
I'm Anyway, people were talking about, and I agree that he was trying to become that man to find his identity of where he fits in society, and not hearing from Penelope, who offers a different perspective, who accepts him as him and who he is, not having that anymore made him go like on a little bit of a tangent.
Yeah.
And I truly agree that he just
Yeah.
went, oh, okay, I don't have pen, so I'm just gonna explore and harden myself up for society. Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. Because it would also explain it's kind of like bravado. It's like, oh, I'm the man. I'm back now, but you
Mm,
can't face me. You know, Pen, you
yeah.
can't face me. I'm this man, you know. But
Mhm.
I
I'm the
just
man.
yeah. It really encompasses just society as a whole. I feel like this show does this so very, very well. And
Oh, 100%.
my goodness. Also,
Yeah.
also to do with Colin, but more so with his family, Eloise. Can we get to Eloise for a sec? Because love that she is reading Jane Austen in season 3, but at the same time, I'm like, her friendship, I understand why she was mad. I would have been as well. I understand why she would want to keep her distance from Penelope and everything, given what happened. But at the same time, if you've known someone for as long as you've known her, wouldn't you give them the benefit, at least have the conversation and try to understand why Penelope did what she did? And try to see maybe from a different perspective, but more so when it comes to Eloise and their friendship, Penelope and her, and then Cressida and everything that happened in season 3. Ash and I already talked about this, but I want to bring this up here because I'm not sure if this was a discussion online at all. But Eloise, I'm excited. Let's put it in a positive spin. I'm excited to see her growth because there's a lot of self entitlement when it comes to her and not really holding space for Penelope. And especially in regards to Colin, when they got engaged and he came home and he's like, we're engaged. She's like, my brother? How long has this been going on? I'm like, is this coming because you're mad or because you're triggered by the fact that she could actually be a part of your family? Like, I got like a really red flaggy moment there where I'm like, are you ashamed of her being in your family? Because that's the vibe I got. And I got triggered. Actually, when I tell you I got triggered because I'm like, let me talk to Eloise real quick. Because here is Penelope, right? The impossible just became possible. She is with the man she loves. Oh my goodness, we're engaged. Now I'm meeting the family, but Eloise is in the house because she knows my secret, and I'm trying to navigate that. And then he announces it. Everybody hugs. You know, it's great. She runs out, and Colin is like, "What's going on?" And he still doesn't know what's going on between the two, and she's trying not for him to find out what's going on. So she goes out, and then Eloise projects onto Penelope, and I'm just like, it's a lot. Take a step. I feel like, especially now, since you've said this, did she at any point in time ever get a break within the show?
Mm.
No, no.
No way. No. It was constant. Constant. One thing after another, my friend. That's what I was saying. It was anxiety written all the way through the episodes. I was
Absolutely.
feeling the anxiety. I wasn't even in her position and I was feeling the
Yeah,
anxiety from
yeah,
everything happening. Like I said, the engagement party, the wedding, just constantly. And then the family finds out that she's Lady Whistledown, and then it's more anxiety, and then the Cressida's thing happens, and then it's just, I just felt for her so much. I really did. That level of anxiety and not being able to enjoy your marriage, you know, marrying the man that you've been in love with for so long, not being able to enjoy that. I thought to myself, she better get a redemption as well in the next
yeah,
season. Some peace. She
yes,
needs some peace.
yes,
I agree with you with Eloise, though. We did speak about this. There was some
yeah,
red flags that were
yeah,
flagging. One, there were definitely moments where I just thought to myself, Eloise, I do validate her, of course, you know. I do validate her anger of it being put in Whistledown because like if we were to speak in realism, being in the ton and being exposed for something that is very serious would be hard to deal with.
Yeah.
It's quite a serious thing to date someone not of title, kind of thing, and also being unchaperoned as well, like the
Oh, yes.
impact of that. So I get the validation of hoping with all of that. But at the same time, she didn't have a conversation with Pen. It's like, here we go, like communication. Sat down and had a general conversation about why, and maybe realizing that maybe it was the only option in order to diverge the Queen from her attention. Secondly, her being on Pen the way that she was just like, even the fact that at one point, she could clearly see that Pen was hyperventilating, maybe not knowing what that is, and still went to press the matter
Yeah.
with Colin. She was about to press the matter in that and at their engagement party too. Oh, I get you want your brother to know. I get you'd want your sibling that you care about a lot to know the truth. It's just like, all I did think is there's got to be a way of doing this that's better than that. You know, there has to be. And how did you not know that your friend was crushing on your brother for such a long time too?
Exactly.
Long
What?
time. Like we're talking since childhood. It's a long time. But it proves too, because in season 2, she finally realizes after all this time that Pen likes all of this. If you remember, we talked about that.
Yes.
Where she says, you like all this, Pen. Like she just realized it. I thought, wouldn't you notice that not even just that, but if your friend is hanging by the wall at so many balls, wouldn't
Right.
you do your due diligence as a friend and, make that experience not a reality?
Right.
There were so many
That's
moments that
true.
this friendship could have been yeah.
I never even thought about that.
Life. Yeah. Yeah. How would you let your friend stand at a wall? I could never. Nina goes to a party, I see her at a wall, that's it, I'm dragging her away from that wall.
Exactly.
If she doesn't want to be at that party, then we're leaving that party. Like, that is my interpretation of it, is Eloise, in a lot of ways, Pen just deserved so much better.
Yeah.
The friendship was one-sided
Yeah.
in so many different ways. Even the bullying as well. For Eloise to befriend the bully
Right.
that was
Yeah.
really going at her,
Yeah.
you know, and I want to preference this too, because I am going to say it now, and I told Nina this too. I truly did learn from in season 3, they gave a backstory of Cressida's life, her life behind the facade. So it actually started to make me feel sorry for her, because essentially her mother makes a comment in season 3 where she says, do you remember what did she say? She goes, I brought you up that you do not, what was it again? You don't trust anyone.
In this world, you only have yourself, something along those lines.
That's right. It was along the lines of, in this world, you only have yourself. You only trust yourself, kind of thing. Along
Especially
those
as a
lines.
woman.
Yes, yes, especially as a woman. So then I thought to myself, okay, that actually depicts a lot. That depicts her growing up in a very strict, emotionally unavailable family, for starters, and then being told probably from a young age that women have to go against each other because the goal is to marry for security. Love was kind of a foreign concept. So for security, you have to marry. And that kind of pinned women against each other. Because Cressida also said that in season 3 to Eloise when they were talking about what she did to Penelope. And she says, I guess the marriage mart does pin us against each other, kind of thing. Like, she admitted it, that she's been a part of that kind of facade. So if we're taking to growing up in that time and potentially what Cressida went through growing up in the family unit, it created this person that targeted people in a certain way, that participated like her mum in the gossip and the bullying, because her mum was doing it too, and the meanness, participated in something that was normalized to her.
Yeah.
So then she continues down that road, clearly, as we see, and she targets Pen because, like we all know, Pen might have resembled something to her if we're going to go down that line, right? Not justifying the bullying behavior either, preferencing that. And then as we move forward into season 3, this is another reason why Eloise was not a good friend. Cressida was literally telling her, I'm going to be married off to a man, I think she said like twice her age or something like that. She's literally telling her, this is the worst case, this is the worst thing. It is. And Eloise is not listening to her. And I kind of wonder if that would have changed the trajectory if Eloise was actually a friend
Right.
in that moment. Because I will preference this again. I like that word, preference. Cressida seemed like she was willing to change because of the friendship with Eloise.
Yeah.
She was willing because, one, she admitted to her behavior towards Pen, not fully, but enough. She was able to reflect. And she had a moment where she could have gossiped about Pen when Eloise told her that Colin was helping Pen find a husband. She could have taken the opportunity to do that, and she did not. She walked away. You see the growth and the willing to change because of a friendship that is true. But because Eloise kind of got into this mindset of hyper focus on Pen, she dropped her. She just dropped her. In my opinion, she dropped her. And I think in survival mode, Cressida chose to go back to her old ways because of survival, to protect herself. So she made ill choices, which is what society does in general.
Yeah.
People do this stuff. When you don't see any other way, you go back to the conditioned ways and you make choices through your protective mode and through what you know. And that's what she did.
Yeah.
Again, not validating it, but this is just what I do. I will literally see beyond. And I like doing that essentially. But I see where Cressida became a bully, and I see where Cressida made her choices. And unfortunately, I do feel where she ended up, honestly. Because what would that have helped, essentially? She goes from one emotionally unavailable household to her aunties who clearly resembles her father. So there's just no fixing the inability to be in touch with self. There's no fixing of that. So I don't know if she's going to be there in the next season, but I don't know. If she is, I just wonder who she's going to come back as, really. I actually generally felt for her character, where you see where a bully comes from and where it starts to unfold. You learn of where this needs to be broken from the start so we can stop bullies from evolving into a bully. That's why I'm preferencing it too. It's the real life, and that just, it goes hand in hand, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you're right. And what was the first thing Eloise did when she heard that the rumor had gotten around? She ran up to Cressida and was like, how could you? Without even asking if it was actually her, she just assumed, you know? And it was like, if it had been a secret that was of such importance, why? And this is what I initially thought, why would you say it in the event at the location in which you did with all these people around that can overhear you? You know what I mean? And just the friendship alone with Cressida, just out of all people in the ton, that was her only friend. It was a little bit weird. And then the mean girls on top of that. But like, it just seemed like a bid for attention, honestly, because she was mad at
Eloise is the red
Penelope.
flag.
Yeah.
Eloise is seeming like the, oh my gosh.
She has issues, and it's okay because I'm actually really excited when we get to her season because I would assume
Mm.
that these are the things she will grow out of, and that's why I
Yeah.
love. It's like I went into Bridgerton not knowing what it was about fully and being like, yeah, it's an interesting watch, but I don't think I'll continue past season 3. But now that I've seen it all, and especially season 3, I'm like, this is something that I have to continue watching because I would like to see the continuation and the growth of the characters, and I
Mm.
hope that will
Yeah.
continue. But it's very interesting stuff and just all of it. But Eloise is an interesting character, I will definitely say. But I mean, on top of that, we've all been there. I would assume we've all been girls who were around other mean girls who
Mhm.
bullied a friend that we cared about, and maybe we were too afraid to speak up. Maybe there was some issues, maybe, but it was never something that we really thought about in the moment. But later on, we're like, okay, this was wrong. I should have done this. I should have done that. So I'm hoping to see that growth in Eloise. And I will say this: Ashley said she cried at the wedding. I cried at the final scene where Miss Whistledown, instead of Miss Whistledown signing off, it was Penelope Bridgerton. That was the moment where I was like, oh my God, tear. Because that was everything. Her being a mom.
Mm.
Oh my goodness. Just beautiful. Absolutely stunning. I was so proud. And I'm so glad. And I'm so happy that I was able to watch it. Thank you for bringing me into the show, Ash. Honestly, it
You're
was
welcome.
beautiful.
I will happily do it for any others that, give the same or similar energy. I'll tell you
Yes.
about it and get you hooked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please do.
While you were speaking, just to say this thought, maybe it kind of makes sense that they did have her child come into the picture in season 3 because essentially they made it that Penelope gave birth to the heir of the Featherington house. And that was playing out in season 3, right? And Prudence and her sister were already pregnant. So maybe it needed to happen in season 3 as quick as it was, and as much as it would have been good to see the announcement of the pregnancy. I feel like it kind of makes sense why they decided to put it in season 3
Mhm.
to show you, okay, there's an heir now, and Penelope is the one that had him. She had the boy, and
Yeah.
signing off from that.
Yeah.
I just thought about it when you were talking about the ending scene. But I do
Yes.
love that you got emotional at the ending scene. I think that's very
Mhm.
cute.
I was just proud of her. I was like, look at her. The baby grew up. I love it. So proud of her.
I know it. Yeah, like I said, it was a nice transition from season 1, season 2, to seeing her growth in season 3.
Yeah. I hope
It's
we
like in real
continue
life.
to see it. Yes,
Mm,
absolutely.
I'm sure it will continue.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will, but not for another 2 years, my friend. So we'll be 30.
You just reminded me of that. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. I was like,
Yeah,
when's the
two
next season coming out?
two
Next year?
years. Mm.
Who
And
will
then the
I
next
be by
season will be
then?
32. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, we'll be
No.
32 by the
Stop.
next season.
I will be in
34.
my 40s by the time this show ends. Oh my oh,
That's
no.
so that's insane to say. That really is.
No. That's not okay. Not
Feel a
okay.
certain way. I'll say to you, Nina, remember back in 2024 when you got hooked onto Bridgerton and now we're 40 years old and it's finally ended?
Like our lives will expand in the time that this show will unfold. That is interesting. I wonder how they will do that with the aging process and stuff. Yeah. Maybe that's why,
Yeah.
so that the younger siblings will be adults by the time their season comes around, if they're not adults already. I'm not sure
If they're
what
going to
they're.
go by their books, they definitely have to be adults.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't read their books, but from the conversations online, they would have to be adults
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
to play out their characters 100%. I did think about it too, that they would have to wait a couple of years before the youngest have their seasons.
Right.
But I mean, you and I might be pushing our age further and further before that. And it will still be weird to have their season come up and then think, oh, wow, I remember literally watching them when they were a lot younger and now they're playing like the
Mhm.
main character. There's going to be a lot of transitions here, my friend.
Yeah, it's going to be some existential crises. I can see it coming.
Oh,
Oh,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a beautiful time. And I thank you, Ashley, again, for introducing me to this show. And yeah,
You're
we shall
welcome.
see. We shall see how it unfolds, how our lives unfold. And just like Bridgerton, there will be another episode after this, and you won't have to wait 2 years to see it. So just watch us in the meantime. Okay?
Just 1 week. Yeah, you won't have to wait long. Oh, jeez. All right. Toodles, everyone. Goodbye. Say la vie. Have a nice day. Have a
Have a
nice
nice
week.
day. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Such an abrupt ending.